I want to share a little bit about what it was like to become a pastor, because I wasn't looking to become a pastor. I was just looking how to not want to die every day, you know. So I was out at the dope house, threatening to burn it down because they locked the doors and shut the curtains. They wouldn't let me in, and kind of like all my family. But some dude come walking up in the front yard of the dope house and said, "Hey man, how you doing?" And I thought, what is this guy doing here? I said, I can't recall having the worst day of my life. What's it to you? And he says, would you like to pray? And that caught me all out of balance. I was like, pray? My life is pretty out of order. Yeah, I suppose. So he held hands with me right there on the front porch of the dope house and prayed with me. And then said, "Hey man, my wife's got dinner on. Would you like to come in my house and have some dinner?" Yeah. And I'm thinking, this guy's a nut. I'm hearing voices. I'm tweaked out of my gourd, and I'm an angry dude. And he's invited me in his house. He invited me in his house. I'll never forget this because I could see the terror on his wife when I walked in. And he whispers to her a little bit. She pulls another plate out of the kitchen cupboard and sets it on the counter and starts cutting his portion in half. Sets it on a plate, and we split his portion. She sets me a plate on the table, and they got 4 kids, and all 4 kids are sitting at the table watching. And I sit down, and all 4 kids start cutting their portion in half. That's right. And they're going, "Hey, mister, you can have part of my portion." And I wanted to know what this love was. Those kids won me to the kingdom. And so he told me, he said, "Hey, look, you know, if you ever want to quit doing what you're doing, there's this place called Set Free. And it's a year program. And it's kind of a long ways away, and I ain't driving you out there unless you promise to stay for a year." I said, "Oh, that ain't happening." Yeah, a year. So he worked on me for about a year, and then when I was really at the end of my rope, I called him up and said, "Hey man, I'm willing to do anything to get better." And he drove me into this place called Set Free and dropped me off and said, "See ya." And yeah, that's Pastor Katie Rice was the pastor back then. And they took me in and they gave me a bed and they fed me in the morning. And I thought, what? These people are nuts. Nobody just does. I'm thinking, what's the angle? Sooner or later, they're going to work me for something because people don't just do that. And it took me almost a whole year to finally give up on that they're working me, to realize that they're doing this because it's just the right thing to do, is to be there for someone else and to pay it forward like they've been given that grace, and now they're giving it up for the next guy. And so that's our whole motto, is pay it forward. We've been given grace. We've been pulled. In Psalms 18 it says, "I love you, Lord. You're the rock that I stand on. You rescue, my rescuing night." I like the Message translations because it says, "I was at my wit's end and I cried out to God and He rescued me. Devil waters washed over me. Hell's rope cinched me tight. Every exit was barred. There was no way out." That was my life. Right. But I cried out to God, and He pushed aside the sky, and He reached out of the heavens, and He pulled me out of that ocean. And then He stood me up in a wide open field. It was a new place. And I stood there surprised to be loved. Because I couldn't understand it. It's like, wow, these guys are nuts. They love, Jesus. It's like, could this be real? And I was challenged to believe whether this was real or not. And then I was challenged because I remember living in them trap houses and watching what they do to people in there. And how people get abused and how people get hurt. And And some people even kind of enjoy it. And man, I remember thinking that if I could ever get out of this life, I want to help as many as I can out. And so then God challenged me. He's like, do you really want to help people out? Are you really who you think you are?
Come on.
Or are you just talking smack? Do you really have the courage to do this? Because it's a war.
That's right.
We're born on a battlefield. There's a war going on. The devil's playing for keeps. And it says in John 10:10, he comes to rob, kill, and destroy. And he doesn't just want to rob, kill, and destroy us. He wants to rob, kill, and destroy our family. He wants to destroy our children. He wants to destroy our future. And so I had to look inside myself and see, is this something that I could really do? And I jumped in. I like what Pastor Mike said. He said, I held on. I held on and I refused to let go. And so when I realized that this was real, I said, I'm planting my stake in the ground right here. And nothing is going to move me. Nothing is going to move me. And I'm telling you right now, I got a little list of all these different things that try to move me. Because if you're going to be a set-free pastor, stuff's coming. Stuff is going to try and move you. And so the first thing that tried to move me was people in the town. The enemy sent guys to encourage me to come be with them. You know, I'll give you a partnership in my business. Do you need a new house? I'll build you a new house. I was a contractor. And come work for me. We'll split everything even. You want a new truck? I'll buy you a new truck. We can go pick one up right now. And I'm telling you what, when you first go into Set Free and you've been there for about 2 months and someone's offering you that stuff,
Most of them go.
It's really hard to say no. Yeah, it's really hard to say no because I'm looking at what I believe in my heart. The calling that God's given me, is it real, or am I going to just take this and be this dude's boy? Because I knew everything comes with a price. And if he's giving me that, then he's going to own me and I'm going to be his boy. I might have a little money in my pocket, but I'm still going to be his boy. And so I had to say, I don't think I could do that, man, because it's going to interrupt. I got this calling in my life coming from God, and I can't let go of it. I put my stake in the ground. I will not be moved. I guess I kind of had an advantage over some people because I was kind of a golden school child. I had a grandma to give me everything. And so I tasted all different kinds of stuff in life. But everything I ever chased, everything I ever aspired to, I'd achieve it, I'd get there and go, my life is empty. Yeah. This is hollow. This is not real. It leaves me unsatisfied. And I came to Set Free, and it smells like butt. And it smells like feet. For real, it really did. And all my family was like, we got to get you out of there. Are you sure you want to stay there? I'm like, it's the first place I ever went where I'm happy. I found joy here. I found satisfaction here. I found purpose here. I found something that I've searched for my whole life, and nobody's going to talk me out of it. And they'll try. They will try because there's going to be all kinds of people. If you're going to be a Set Free pastor, all kinds of people are going to be whispering in your ear what you really need to do. And you got to be able to stand against that. And like what Pastor Mike said, hold on. Hold on to Jesus. Put that stake in the ground. Don't be moved because there's all kind of stuff that's going to come at you. All kind. So I had to write a little list. And so the next thing was, when I became a pastor, everybody knew that I was unchurched. I was just a construction worker. You know, I was hearing voices and pretty much a tweaker, and I could probably be taken advantage of. So the sharks came in. The sharks. I was in shark-infested water. They're circling the camp, and they're trying to eat my lunch. And I'm telling you what, they come in with all their religious jargon, they come in with all their different plans and purposes, and they're smiling in your face, and they got a knife behind their back. And man, some of the hardest lessons that I faced was dealing with these people that, it's like, have you lost your mind? We're here for Jesus. I'm here for all these brothers and sisters. They belong to Jesus. And some people have said, those are my disciples. Man, run from those folks. Yeah, they belong to Jesus. We're all Jesus children, Jesus kids. And one thing Pastor King taught me was those are Jesus broken children. And we need to be a voice for them. When I met Marshall, I don't know if Marshall's still in here. I told Marshall right out the gate, I said, you're called to be a leader. You will fight. You have fire in your veins for the voiceless. Yeah. Those little ones that are afraid to talk, you'll step up to the bat and take a hit for them, dude. Man, that's signs of a leader. And it's just like I can see it on his countenance. And he found that here. Man, that's awesome. So, another things that you're going to face is persecution. So when you're doing well, people get jealous. People get weird. People want to chop you down. They're going to come at you. People are going to lie about you. People are going to spread rumors about you. You know, there was guys that I just looked up to and admired. And I remember one day I got a phone call from this pastor. He says, "Oh, I heard about what you're doing down there in Elmer." I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool. What'd you hear?" He's like, "I know what you're doing down there." I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He said, "You're preaching that weak theology down there." I'm like, "What weak theology? What do you mean?" Because I'm looking up because I just admire him. He's like, "Yeah, you believe that you can be high and still be saved." I'm like, "Well, that's true, but I'm not preaching that." You know, it's like, yeah, people fall down, man. People bump their head. And they didn't lose their salvation, they just bumped their head. Some people, when they fall down, they fall forward. They learn something. They get up and they're like, "Ooh, we ain't doing that again." And so they're a step ahead. And then they can use that to reach back and grab the guy behind him and say, "Come on, man, don't make those mistakes that I made." That's right. And so, but it just broke my heart because I was like, he said, "You know that little feller that you just rolled up? He come up here and he told me that you're down there smoking crack with him every day." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, man. Dude, you're like one of the greatest dudes in our circles and you think I'm down here smoking crack? Come on, you're not that naive. This little tweaker just got rolled up and now he's talking smack. It just broke my heart." And all my elders are like, "You need to go up there and just make that right. You need to let him know how far off he is." I said, "I don't need to do nothing. I'm innocent. I would never do anything like that. God's got my back. All I got to do is stand." And I truly believe that God would have a way to work that out because I admired that guy. I love that man. He's a captain in God's army. He's one of the champions. And so one day we were talking, you know, and that subject got brought up again. And the Holy Spirit gave me the words to say, and we became really good friends after that. You know, but it wasn't like we had to go to battle. God handled it. God worked it out. I just put that stake in the ground, held on to Him, and He takes care of it. So I just had a couple of key things. Another thing, okay, so after I was set free for about 5 years, God brought me a wife. And she came out of the church, and she was like way ahead of me as far as, you know, she had all kinds of clean time and been in the church and a very professional person, and all the girls that set free were like, "Pastor, you can't marry." Actually, I wasn't a pastor yet, but they're like, "You can't marry that fancy lady. She's not one of us. You can't marry her." And I was like, she isn't like us. That's right. And so she didn't understand our culture at all. And so she would try and get me to bend my ways and look at things it kind of with a religious attitude, like the people of the church that we got to kind of watch out from, some of them. And so I had to stand against that too. I had to put my stake in the ground and go, oh no, not even my wife can budge me on this one. Those are my people. No, I won't do it. Nope, I refused it. And it was almost like she was in this little religious box and she's like, come on down here. Come on in here. It's safe in here. I'm like, oh heck no, man. Come on out of there. It's not safe out here, but I ain't going in there. And so, you know, that's kind of sometimes we're going to run into people like that in our lives, you know, and they come around though. They come around. And so I have never seen, I'm telling you this right now, I've never ever seen a person come out and hang out and set free and God not go, oh hey, what's that? I think we need to fix that. Even the most, I got guys coming in that are theologians and stuff, and the Lord's going, hey, what's that? You hang out with us very much, it's coming to the surface. Yeah. It's awesome. It's like, man, anyways. And we get to be humble about it and just say, yeah, that's great, let's go to work on that. And so then the next thing that I wanted to talk about was staff. Pastor Willie, I love when I come down here and see your staff, the heart that you have down here. When I met Gary Irby and I wanted to talk to him about planting churches and stuff. I was just on fire for it. And he said, have you been down there to California and met your fellas? And I'm like, no, I've never been down there. He said, well, you need to get down there and taste some of that DNA and see what they're like so you know who you are. And I came down here and I come down every chance I get now because I love what I taste down here. I love the flavor of what's going on down here. I like the set-free DNA. And so up in Washington, there's Pastor Brian Hellenthal with Yosemite Ministries and a couple other people. But it's not like down here, man. There's a family of people that do what you guys do down here, what we do. And so, anyways, that's some of the best advice I got was to stick with our DNA, to not try and buy into all the other, because the sharks will come dressed in suits too. They'll be like, hey, let me help you out. So, but with the staff, it's like, and sometimes I've got guys that come to me needing help, and they're off the hook. You know, sometimes guys come in and I wasn't churched. I just came out of the hood, man. I was a contractor that stuck in the hood, and, you know, I worked hard all day and got high all night. And I did that for about 30 years until I was done. You know, I had to give it up. Life got out of control, and God was calling me. But anyhow, so I get these guys. I don't know if you guys will run into this, but I will warn you that you will get guys that come in and they have their idea how church is supposed to be, and they'll have kind of they'll come in and butter you up, and I can help you out here and help you out there, and I put them on staff, but I know what they're up to. You know, I know what they're up to. So sometimes I've been preaching before and heard a guy up in the sound booth going, I don't believe that. I'm like, come on, you're on my staff. You can't talk like that for everybody. You know, I'm just like, but it's kind of cool because 10 years later, he's like, oh man, I'm so sorry I talk like that, you know. 10 years later, come around. But I don't give up on them. You can't give up on them. If someone's saying help, you help. If they're crying out for help, you know, unless they're, you know, doing something like, one of the things that I will not tolerate is if you start like hitting on our ladies, you're gone, dude. I won't tolerate it. That's sacred. That's sacred, dude. You won't play with that. You think you can play around there? Kick rocks. So the last thing that I really want to share is just hold on to Jesus, because if a knucklehead like me, you know, my dad for like 6 years was like trying to talk me into leaving Set Free. And finally one day, 6 years into it, you know, he's like, calls me up, he says, hey Mike, I don't know what you're doing down there at that church, but whatever you're doing, you better not quit. And if you decide to quit, I'll remind you who you used to be. I think I got a compliment from my dad. But I tell you, when my family first come around and checked out Separate Church, they're like, man, you gotta get out of here. There ain't no Lexuses in the parking lot or nothing. You gotta go get your 401k going, start your business again. And they had all these ideas of what I needed. And people will come along that you really truly love it. And if you're like me, man, I want my family to respect me. I want them to be proud of me. But they'll try and talk me out of holding on to Jesus sometimes to go chase the world. And we can't do that. Amen? So if I have any advice, that would be my advice, is just trust Jesus all the way. And when people try and undermine you, don't pay no attention to them. Don't pay no attention to them. Because the Lord He'll take care of it. He always has in my case. And it's sad because sometimes I just want to say, hey, I want to do that about you. Because it's not going to work out real well, man. I don't even have to do nothing. I'll just stand here and something's going to happen wrong, and you can't do that. Yeah, God won't have His work thwarted. Anyways, I'm starting to just rattle a little bit. So there's this band called 38 Special, and the Lord uses everything to talk to me. One day I'm walking through the building and I'm just like, hold on, loosen it, the building, let go. And the Lord says, that's right, Mike. I'm like, what? He's talking to me right in the middle. He's like, yeah, that's how you do ministry. Hold on loosely, but don't let go. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool, Lord. I can tell you story after story. For a long time, I was a contractor. I owned a construction company, and guys would come to Set Free, and I'd employ them, and I'd take them to work. And the union saw it as a, what's that thing called, Nick, where you go in and apprenticeship. They saw what I did as an apprenticeship program.